I've already talked about this on stream once before, but it was a very short segment that I did at the end of a normal political stream. I didn't make it into a video. I just kind of like gave my thoughts on it and moved on with my day. And in hindsight, I feel like this is worthy of a video on its own, both because I know someone involved with the particular subject we're going to be discussing, and also I think there's some stuff that we can learn about it that I really wish people um, would at least consider more often in cases like this. Okay, and I am very cozy right now. Okay, we're just about to play some Dead Space 2, but I'm just gonna do this very quickly before we get into the game. So, sexual misconduct, sexual assault, sexual harassment allegations are very serious and important. Obviously, when it comes to calling out somebody who is a danger to someone else or yourself in regards to um, sexual impropriety of some kind, I want to ask you guys all right now: what is one reason, or name any reason, why someone may feel the need to come out with an allegation against somebody for doing something, some kind of sexual harassment or sexual assault, what have you? What is a reason that comes to your mind right away as to why someone would come out with that? Because it happened? Sure. I expected a better response than that. I know we don't have a lot of viewers right now. To protect others? Ooh, good one, Mercy Sane. Falsely or for real? Doesn't matter. Ideally real. Let everyone know that they are a creep. Close. Because it sucks to experience and no one else would want to experience it. That's good too. I think we've gotten enough. The number one reason that I think the number one best reason for making allegations public is typically to protect others. Because you believe that somebody is a danger to others, has a tendency to do this kind of thing, and not only does justice need to be served, but also you feel the need to warn other people that may be involved with that individual so that they don't end up going through what you did. Now, I say all of this because it's sort of a lot, sort of an up. It's kind of leading up to a completely different, or not different, but some events that happen. I'm just gonna get right into it. So, this is Savvy, or Sleepy Socialist on Twitter. Now, I want to clarify before this, don't send any hate the way of this person. I have no ill will against them. I have no ill will against anybody involved in this situation, to be honest with you, and I don't think anything good comes out of harassing anybody, trying to start further drama. The best thing you can all do about the situation is just let it burn out. But I just want to give my thoughts on it, so let's go ahead and take a look. I'm really hesitant on saying something publicly, but it's really uncomfortable to see Merrick. I should probably clarify who Merrick is. This is Merrick, hot lefty lady on Twitter. That's probably how you know her. She has guns. If you remember who Mel's collage of hot lefty women with guns on Twitter, although there were only two with guns, I think. I don't know, just like the fucking collage that Mel made, that went viral for a while. That was like, yeah, lefty women can be hot too. She was in that. Both of these people were in that. So what I'm going to do is basically read over these allegations and give my thoughts on them, and I'm going to bring on the accused to discuss what happened. But let's go ahead and read this. This is following, from my understanding, a political debate that happened between these two individuals. You see, Merrick is of the belief that sex work can be non-coercive and moral under communism. It doesn't have to just exist under a capitalist system. It can also exist under a communist system and not be inherently coercive or abusive. And from my understanding, Savvy and Merrick disagree on this, as they have before in the past, and got into a bit of a political argument. And then this happened. This post happened. I just want to give you guys some, just a little bit of a background before we get into the accusations. I'm really hesitant on saying anything publicly, but it's really uncomfortable to see Merrick talk about consent when at just this person here, and I had to share a hotel room with her in Louisville. She had sex in the bed next to us without once asking us for consent to be exposed to that. Now, assuming this happened, doing that would be pretty bad. Having sex in the same room as somebody else who isn't okay with it is pretty bad. You probably shouldn't expose somebody to that if they aren't cool with it. It's not okay, but it's certainly not like a nuclear form of sexual harassment. But let's continue a little further. Kind of trashy, but not fucking traumatic / rape, Lamau. I mean, it can be traumatic for some people who have PTSD about sexual assault and whatnot. But I'll get into my opinion on whether or not this happened later. But let's continue. This is going off of what I had to hear. I didn't look over. When it comes to non-consensual sexual situations, I freeze up due to trauma. I tried to do whatever I could to make it obvious I was awake, turning my screen brightness up, typing loudly. She knew that Erica and I had PTSD related to sexual trauma and didn't think once about asking us before exposing us to sex we didn't consent to. Erica was sleeping, but she was clearly tossing and turning, and I was completely awake, trying really hard to sleep after the action, I guess, I don't know. I tried really hard to give her a chance, but after seeing her lie about being a medic, refusing to take off her long nails to even learn how to treat patients / save lives, run directly into danger, then sexually harass us, I don't want to be associated with her whatsoever, please. So, a little more background. Essentially what had happened was, I think there was a protest happening in Louisville, and Erica is like a medic of some kind, and I believe Savvy is too, or Savvy has at least some medical history, and Merrick was going there to learn from Erica in order to help people during the protest that were getting like pepper sprayed by cops, beat up by cops, and like shot by cops with like rubber munitions and whatnot, and possibly even real bullets at a certain point if things got too escalated. That's what they were there to do. But let's continue. And I know this isn't a huge deal. There's so much worse that someone could do, and I'm not traumatized. Clarification, not traumatized. She thought she was being sneaky, but obviously that doesn't work. I just don't think we should be looking to her for consent discourse right now. The literal last thing I want is drama, and I may take this down. She's not going to take it down. I've tried my absolute hardest to avoid this and not say something because of that, and I hate with my whole heart even having to address this now. Please don't send her hate. Listen, guys. Listen. I don't feel like these accusations are being made in good faith. There are two ways that we can take it. The first thing we can do is take everything at face value and believe every word that she said. Let's look at it in the worst case scenario, going off of what she said here for Merrick, okay? And see how bad it is. So, worst case scenario, Merrick and these two people were staying in a hotel room in different beds on the other sides of the room, and Merrick took a guy back to the hotel room, and believing that she was being sneaky and that the other two people were asleep, which, you know, Savvy admits here that she believed that she was sleeping, had sex with the dude, thinking that they wouldn't notice, and that was what happened. That was what apparently happened. Now, is that bad if that really did happen? It's kind of inappropriate, but far from sexual assault or something worthy of like a big public unveiling. This isn't something that needed to be made public, because there's very clearly a lot of the reasons why you would appropriately or reasonably want to expose something like this just isn't present here. The worst case scenario, this was she unknowingly, her friends were in the room, believing that they were asleep. She had sex with the dude in the bed and didn't, and it was like inappropriate. Clearly, Merrick isn't like a habitual sexual harasser who is a danger to others that needs to be exposed. If anything, this is something that would be something more you would want to work out in private between the two people. This isn't really something that needs to be made public, because even if we take this as the worst case scenario, this clearly isn't a instance of like serial sexual assault or harassment or abuse. Hey, Vermin. Second, the reason why this is being brought up. I want to remind you all, the reason why she's bringing this up in the first place is to get a leg up in a political debate. They were having an argument about the morality of, from my understanding, the morality of sex work. Yeah, it's true, Vermin. But they were having an argument on Twitter about the morality of sex work under capitalism and communism, and instead of arguing that, she decides to come forward with this story. And then goes on to add more stuff on there completely unrelated to this. This is the part that, out of everything else, really, really bugs me, okay? This bugs me a lot, all right? Bringing up but after seeing her lie about being a medic, refusing to take off her long nails to even learn how to treat patients / save lives, run directly into danger, then sexually harass us, I don't want to be associated with her whatsoever. There is no reason whatsoever at all to bring up the fucking lying about being a medic, which from my understanding she didn't do. She was there to learn from this Erica person who was an actual trained medic on how to help people. Refusing to take off her long nails. She had acrylic nails on, okay? I don't know if you guys are aware, but you have to get acrylic nails taken off at like an actual like nail salon generally. I'm not like I'm a dude. I don't know much about acrylic nails, but I talked to my girlfriend about this. Like, you can't just like pry off acrylic nails. The way they're put on is you're more likely to rip your fingernails out before take off acrylic nails, from my understanding. You have to actually go get them professionally removed somewhere. And also, holy fuck, they're not exactly cheap to take off. So there is no reason whatsoever, assuming everything here is true, to bring up this dumb shit about having long nails. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure having acrylic nails on isn't going to do all that much to impede your ability to act as a street medic during a protest. Let's be real here. The majority of stuff that you're going to be doing if you're working as a street medic during a protest is treating people who've gotten pepper sprayed in the face. So this involves pouring water and cleaning out people's eyes. Nails probably aren't going to do much for that. Maybe putting on a bandage, maybe a tourniquet, maybe putting on like band-aids and shit like that. You're probably not performing surgery. As my girlfriend said, anything more extreme than that, no street medic needs to be doing anything there. You need to call an ambulance and get them to a fucking hospital. No street medic has any business doing anything beyond those actions. There's nothing that having acrylic nails on are going to do about this. And there is no reason for this to be brought up in this accusation whatsoever. This person could have just decided to not interact with the person they're complaining about again, so also they can put gloves on over nails. You can put gloves on, and she could have just decided not to ever speak to Merrick again, and this wouldn't be an issue. They were having a political argument online, and Savvy decided to bring this up as fodder for the debate, or for the argument. This is absolutely an accusation, no matter if it's true or not, being brought up in extremely bad faith. Then there's the run directly into danger thing. I'm sorry, but I don't know why this is relevant either to this like allegation of sexual harassment. I'm sorry. It's a fucking protest. She was acting as a street medic. You're kind of running into danger. Not to mention, I don't care if you're there with people. You're allowed to run into danger when you're at a protest. Like, that's what she's there to do. They're inherently dangerous when you have the fucking cops being notoriously aggressive towards peaceful protesters. And then adds the then sexually harass us thing. And it says, goes on to do the whole, I know this isn't a huge deal, but there's so much worse that someone could have done, and I'm not traumatized. And then does like the sort of, oh, and it's not that bad thing at the end, but look at this. Literally thousands of likes combined on all of these posts. Merrick ended up making a response to this, giving her side of the story. Problem is, Merrick has a much smaller Twitter presence than Savvy does, so Merrick's tweets got a couple hundred likes combined, while Savvy's got thousands, and there is an overwhelming amount of support for Savvy compared to Merrick. Now, even without Merrick's side of the story, this already comes off as really sus, like these accusations. Now, this is why I'm going to be bringing Merrick on in a minute through Discord, so she can explain her side of the story. But very quickly, I'm going to explain what I already know from what Merrick posted on Twitter, going over these accusations, okay? So for one, Merrick claims that her and that dude didn't have sex in the bed. Yeah, apparently they just kind of made out, kind of like groped each other a little bit and like cuddled and stuff like that. No actual sex happened, no oral sex, no penetrative sex, nothing like that. Like a little bit of like grabby feely under the covers, but nothing unironically like full on. Yeah, it was probably makeout noises that Savvy thought she heard, if we're being honest. That was probably what it was, which would still be a little yikesy. Definitely not as bad as if they had sex, but also even if they did have sex, it would be a stretch to say that this was like something worthy of a huge fucking Me Too coming out allegation. On top of that, as for the nails, Merrick explained that she couldn't just go to a fucking nail salon and get her fucking nails removed in Louisville during the protest. Not exactly on the table when they're going out to be street medics. Not to mention she was told it was fine, apparently. On top of that, Merrick never claimed to be a medic, like a trained medic. She was there to learn from this Erica person how to do what she needed to do there. And there's really not that much you need to know to be a street medic at a protest. I'm a life. I have years of experience as a lifeguard behind me, and I'm pretty sure somebody with less experience than me, having been a lifeguard, can probably be a pretty competent street medic during protests. Most of what the injuries you're going to see during protests are going to be the ones that you can actually treat and do something about as a street medic are the following: scrapes, cuts, gashes, pepper spray, so like injured, like pepper spray to the face and whatnot, burning eyes, and maybe blunt force trauma. Which at that point, honestly, the most you can do there is take someone to a hospital and get them out of everything. And maybe, possibly, if bullets start flying, then you need to be able to make a tourniquet. That's mostly all you're going to be able to do as a street medic. Anything else, any more severe injury, the most that you can do is just get them to the hospital. I don't see why this accusation of lying about being a medic and the nails thing was ever needed to be brought up here. But with all of that said, I've given you my thoughts. I'm going to go ahead and give Merrick a call and let her give her whole side of the story. I don't know if everything I said was true about like the background around it, so I'm going to go ahead and let her do her thing. So I'll call her in a second. Asking her if I can call now. All right, I'm going to call her.
Hey.
Hey, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear my stream through your mic.
Hey, can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh wait, no, yeah, I can hear her, but
shit, there's just
I can hear my stream through your.
Yeah, hold on. Let me close this out then. Hey, can you hear? Yeah, can you? Okay, how's that?
Hold on, I got this. There we go. All right, you should be able to hear me fine now.
Yeah. So hi, thanks for having me on.
No problem. I noticed this drama going on at the end of my last politics stream. Somebody had messaged me both threads, your thread and Savvy's, and I ended up reading it on stream. And right away, the stuff that I went over just now stuck out to me. And I gave my thoughts on it on stream, but I didn't do a segment on it, like an official thing about it. But I do think this is pretty important because I think there's a lot of stuff going on here that is kind of worrying in regards to how seriously a lot of people are taking this and how little critical thought people are taking this accusation with.
Yeah. So I am like actually scared right now. Like I'm actually scared for my well-being and my family's well-being because people have found out who my husband is and they have been sending him messages trying to cause us to get divorced. We are currently separating. We have been separating for a while, but we still live together. We're really good friends, but people don't know that. So they're actually trying to ruin my marriage, which, you know, was an open marriage to begin with. But again, people don't know that. So people
They're doing
are
it maliciously.
Yeah. And people are trying to get me to kill myself. I'm getting a lot of messages that I should kill myself. So this has been one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had. And I have seen what feels like the entirety of lefty Twitter either mocking me or talking about how I'm like a rapist. So this has been very strange. I've seen a lot of I've seen like blue check accounts, I've seen like right-wing accounts talking about this. Like it's on Instagram now. Like I think the spread of this has been really concerning. And I guess I should just start with saying that, you know, my response to the situation, my initial response, because you said you read it, was not great. And I do feel bad about the way I responded. And you know, I should acknowledge that that's on me. And that's a mistake that I made. I shouldn't have called her a bitch. That was that was really immature of me. No matter how she's behaving, like I still have a responsibility to behave myself appropriately. So, you know, I'm going to take ownership of that. But yeah, this didn't actually happen because of an argument that we were having. This happened because my my sex work under communism take was getting so much heat. She saw that, and I think she saw that as an opportunity to do this.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I've actually debated this a lot as well. I'm of the belief that sex work can absolutely be non-coercive and can absolutely exist under communism. I actually saw a take today that was actually pretty interesting. How in a lot of ways sex work can be therapeutic for some people. There are a lot of other benefits outside of just monetary gain and value that sex work has and can absolutely exist under communism. And there are a lot of people who may not be hardcore swerfs, but who have some swerfy takes, even on the left, about sex work, in the belief that it can go away under communism, that we can get rid of it now. And I know that's like a really heated topic on lefty Twitter, and that is what I was pretty sure sort of sparked off this whole accusation.
Yeah, I think it's one of the big reasons why I've been so hated since I joined Lefty Twitter. I joined Lefty Twitter back in I don't know, I think August, and it's been a fucking miserable experience for me. Most of the people that I've interacted with have been either difficult to talk to or like actively horrible to me. And I think a lot of that is because I do talk about sex work a lot. I've been a sex worker for almost a decade now. I did full service when I was younger. I've been a dancer. Right now I do porn. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. There's a lot of things that sex work encompasses that a lot of it's intimacy. And so that was really the point I was getting at when I was talking about how I think people would voluntarily engage in sexual labor in a society with no jobs and no money, because I think that people would see it as something that they could contribute, that was like a service. But so that was my point, right? And pretty much nobody engaged with it in good faith. I mean, some people were like, yeah, okay, cool, I get it. But for a lot of people, it turned into a conversation about like state mandated comfort women, which is really kind of crazy. And for a lot of people, it turned into a conversation of just people telling me I was an incel, which is funny. And I think Sabby saw that and went, now's my time. Now's when I do it. Because she has done this to me before, where she has gotten a piece of information in her head and decided that she was going to attack me online about it. I don't know if anyone has seen this, but when we went to the facility in Georgia, that was the reason I was in Louisville, was because I went with Erica, who is a combat Army medic, to Georgia. There was a protest at an ICE facility. So I thought we were going to be there for several days. So I got on an airplane and I flew out because I'm in a position where I can post my own bail. I'm in a position where I could afford a cheap flight and I want to do something. I'm sick half the year. So when I'm not sick, I'm like, I want to get out there. I want to do stuff. And, you know, I've been thinking and trying to find ways that I can help and give back to people who have less than me. So I was like, I'm going to go to this thing. I'm going to learn from Erica. We're going to be there for a couple of days. Well, that wasn't the case. There was an incident that happened where I took a photo after the protest, and someone else that I was with made a joke about it, and Sabby didn't like the joke. So she went onto Twitter to tell everyone that I had taken sexual photos of myself at the Georgia ICE facility, and that I had made my friends worried that I had gotten arrested by police. And that I had just dipped out, basically to be a slut at a nice facility. And this never happened. This was it was a joke that someone made, so she went straight to Twitter to tell people that this happened and that I did it.
Even if that did happen, and this has been pretty consistent with what I've heard about you and Savvy's interactions. Even if that did happen, is that even that bad? Like when you're allowed to go. Like, even if you did do that, you're allowed to go take, like, some selfies, like, while you're out doing a protest. I don't see how that's, like, a big deal.
I mean, I think it would have been pretty distasteful. So the reason for the ICE protest in Georgia was that we were protesting that they're giving women hysterectomies. It's actually really fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
It's
the forced sterilization.
Exactly. It's a facility in Irwin that's owned by LaSalle Corporations. Y'all should look up LaSalle Corporation. It's really fucked up. Learn about it. But so they own this facility and they're doing this bad shit to these women. So yeah, I think that if I had been there wasn't even access to a bathroom at the place. Like I literally physically could not have done it. So I think if I had done that, yeah, that would have been a little bit tacky. This was hours and hours and hours and hours later. And the thing is, I still have to work. Like, I am a sex worker. That is my job. So, yeah, I have to post photos from time to time. And the reason why I posted the photo was because I got in that chud's face. There was a bunch of guys with guns there, a bunch of right-wingers. And I got up in his face and I made him look stupid. So anytime that a female sex worker makes a right-winger look dumb, it would be advantageous, optically speaking, to post it. So I posted it. And then later on I posted the photo and I was like, oh, sorry, fash, I only fuck leftists. Because again, I'm going to taunt fascists. Like, I think that's good. I think we should be more aggressive to fascists. I think we spend a lot of our time being aggressive to liberals and other leftists, and I think that's kind of bullshit. So, I thought I was doing something good. And she messaged me to let me know that I needed to take the photo down because women of color were uncomfortable with it. So I was kind of like, well, if women of color come to me and tell me that they're uncomfortable with it, I'll do it. But you're just another random white person, kind of seeming like you're using women of color as a prop right now. So if they're not coming to me and expressing their concerns to me, then I'm not just going to do what you say because anonymous sources said. So she didn't like that. And then she posted that I had done it, that I had done whatever this other person's joke post was. I put the two of them in a group chat and I was like, you need to work on this. You need to fix this. Oh, you know what? That was after she came at me for money. She came at me about money because Erica told me to post our Venmo and Cash App so we could get donations for chest seals because we were going from Georgia to Louisville at this point. So Savvy publicly came at me and was like, what are you going to do with this money? Why are you asking for money? What's that about? And I was like, hey, man, you've literally done this with Erica before, because she had done it with Erica in Kenosha. And Erica was like, I don't understand why she's doing this. I don't understand why she's coming at you publicly like this. So I deleted my tweets about the money and I asked her, like, why are you doing this? Why are you coming at me? And she said that's when she pulled well, women of color are uncomfortable and you're making everything about yourself. So, like, at this point, the level of interaction that we are having is so petty. It's petty and it's kind of playing like weird identity politics where I felt like she was using Black people as a prop, to be perfectly honest. And I felt that it was
Sounds
really
like
uncomfortable. Yeah. I deleted my tweet. And then whenever she made her tweet about me, where I was like, hey, dude, why are you attacking me right now? We're trying to do the same thing. We're on the same side. Like, I don't understand why you're doing this. I put her in a group chat with the guy who made the joke. And he was like, hey, Sav, that didn't happen. I made that up as a joke. The joke was Erica's joke, by the way. It was Erica's idea. And then he posted it. And Savvy was like, okay, well, it wasn't good. And you need to think about optics because Merrick has a large account. And so he was like, okay, I can understand how optically that could be bad. And then she was like, I'm not going to delete what I said about Merrick unless she deletes the photos, though. So she knew it wasn't true. And I have all the screenshots. I have all the receipts of all of this, by the way. I haven't posted any of it because I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this situation. But yeah, she was basically told, hey, this didn't happen. This wasn't the situation. And she was like, okay, well, fuck you. Do what I want, or fuck you. I'm going to keep the tweets up. And, she didn't say fuck you, but she was like, well, I'm not going to delete them unless you do what I want and take your photo down. And I was like, damn, Ma, I'm not going to do that because that's crazy. That's an absolutely crazy thing for you to say, is I'm not going to correct my lie until you do what I want. So, we had a really awkward, before she came to Louisville, that was how we left things. It was incredibly awkward. And she lied about me, and then she just left it, and that was that. So, fast forward, I'm in Louisville with Erica, and Erica just lets me know that she's going to come get Savvy. And I was like, I'm not really comfortable with that. Why would I want to be at a protest with a girl who's been attacking me online, making up lies about me online so that other people will attack me? Why do I want to be in potential life or death situations with someone like that? And Erica was like, it's fine. She's not going to pull anything. I don't let stuff like that happen on my teams, and kind of just dismissed me and was like, whatever, this is what we're doing, And I was like, okay, cool. So Savvy gets there, we kind of talk it out. It seems fine. She's there for a couple of days. And then another guy comes down. Now, this guy is, I guess he's also a medic or he calls himself a medic from Michigan. So they invited him down and he got there and we hit it off. So do you know what trauma bonding is?
When you mutually have gone through the same or a different similar thing, and basically you end up bonding over the shared trauma.
Okay. Yeah, sure. It's really self-explanatory, but I just don't want to assume. So we literally ran from police hand in hand together. He's the only reason that I didn't get arrested. That night that I don't know if you saw any of these tweets, but Erica, him, the other guy that was with us, Savvy, and I were stuck in a church till 3:30 in the morning because some kids had burned some boards down the street from us. And the FBI and LMPD were waiting around the church to see if they could come in. We didn't know if they were going to arrest us. There were people who were armed inside the church who were not, cops. And we didn't know what was happening. There was a lot of different accounts we're being told. Some people were like, hey, they might come in and start shooting. Other people were like, hey, it's not really a big deal. We had people with us who part of their bail conditions were that they had to remain lawful. So they were in a bad situation. So it was super high stress, right? And him and I really fucking bonded over that, And so we went back to the hotel after that. I'm going through a really shitty divorce. And It had been a long emotional day. And now, are these excuses for me being inconsiderate? No, they're not. And for me to like half fool around with someone while people are in the room sleeping, that that's kind of like an asshole thing for me to do. And I understand that and I completely take ownership of that. But I do want you guys to understand like the mindset I was in, what happened, because I have seen people on Twitter saying that I brought a client to the hotel room and that I was fucking a client. So I would just like to paint an accurate picture of what's happened or what was happening here. And I've also seen other people saying that this was someone that Savvy was really into and that I did that to hurt her, which is also not true. We all agreed that he was attractive, and that's as far as that went. My understanding is Savvy has a boyfriend. So, this wasn't like a situation where I was like stealing a man from her. Like, it wasn't a client, nothing like that. So, they go to sleep. Hey, you, ma'am? Sorry, I have dogs. Dachshunds. Hey, no. So, Erica's fucking snoring. She's passed out. I thought Savvy was asleep, so him and I kissed a little bit. She rolls over, turns her screen on. We were like, oh shit. And we stop. And for a while, nothing happens. She turns her screen off. She turns away. She lays down. It's quiet for a while. We wait. And then, we like touch each other a little bit. I mean, this was like, man, this was some like mild shit. I think that's the worst part about all of this is this was some really mild shit. I hadn't been fucked in months and I really didn't get fucked, but I'm getting fucked now. Like, it's just, there was no sex, there was no oral sex, there was no like penetration. Like, it really was like just some touching. And I feel fucking terrible because I didn't know that she was awake, and that was probably awkward. She probably did feel awkward, and that fucking sucks because that's a situation that I put someone in. That's a situation that he put someone in as well, which is something that no one is talking about, and I'm not going to throw him under the bus. But I do think it's really fucked up how it's not been a conversation of him and I did something that made Savvy uncomfortable. It's been a conversation of I did something that made Savvy uncomfortable. But she claims that I knew about her sexual trauma, which is absolutely not true. That's something she's completely fabricated. If she mentioned in passing that she has sexual trauma, then I guess she mentioned it in passing, but we didn't have a sit-down discussion about her triggers. We didn't have a sit-down discussion about her sexual history. I've been raped, I've been sexually assaulted multiple times. I've worked as a sex worker, like I was molested as a child. I mean, I think a lot of us can probably tell a story about having sexual trauma. I think the more that we talk about these things, the more we realize it's really widespread. So, these are situations that if you have really specific triggers, I feel like it's your responsibility to either talk about that or don't, because that's personal information, but don't lie and pretend after the fact that you did tell someone about it. I think that's really shady. I think it's really irresponsible. And I think that's one of the reasons why people are really mad at me about this is because she's claiming that it triggered her PTSD, and what an asshole I am for putting her in a situation that triggered her PTSD. But how am I supposed to know that the sounds of kissing are going to trigger someone's PTSD?
Yeah.
That's not normal. No one's PTSD is normal because everyone's is different and unique, right? So I don't think that it's like reasonable to put that on me when you never had a conversation with me about that. So I think maybe what I did was an asshole move, but I don't know that it was like a Me Too thing where, because I feel like I'm getting Me Too now.
Yeah, that's the impression I've gotten too. My perspective is even if the worst case scenario happened and exactly what she said happened, the worst thing, like the most that it was is like inconsiderate and a little inappropriate and something that should have been worked out in private. Like, hey, I wasn't cool with that. It really wasn't something that needed to be made into a big public spectacle. And what kind of irks me the most is that she's using it to gain a one-up in a political debate about sex work under
Well,
communism.
okay, so here's the thing: is that's not what's happening.
Or I shouldn't say it's like a back and forth debate, but during a big online argument that's sort of happening between a lot of people about sex work, she's like, I don't
Yeah.
think we should take Merrick's belief on this seriously when she's done this. We shouldn't take her take on or her belief about consent seriously, and then using it as political fodder, essentially.
Yeah. So that's the thing is like she's actually not. This actually came out of left field for me because she's claiming that she tried to talk to me about it. She blocked me. She actually went to the organizers that we were on the ground with and had them block me. And then she blocked me, continued to talk to the guy for a while. And then I had to ask Erica multiple times. I contacted Erica multiple times to ask what was happening, why I was being blocked. She never reached out to contact me. I've seen some people saying she tried multiple times and I blew up on her. That's not true. She iced me out. Her and Erica both iced me out. And she went behind my back and talked to apparently accounts with large followings in the days prior to this happening. So she went and talked to all of them. Then she made this announcement. And I was completely iced out and not given the courtesy of a conversation about it at all. So, yeah, I think that this was very much a strategic move for her. I think that we had a conversation about money in Louisville that she didn't particularly care for. We had a conversation where it accidentally came out that I make a lot more money than her, and it was kind of awkward. And I think she was mad that, I hooked up with someone that she found attractive, and I think she's mad that I didn't do what she said because she has already laid out several instances where she has gotten mad at me and done something controlling or made a public lie about me because I didn't do what she said. I think somewhere I saw a tweet that, she claims that I ran into danger where there was an incident with the guy and I where we went to go see what was happening with a suspicious truck, and she got really mad at me because we went off without her permission. This is a 21-year-old.
Like there's three parts of her accusations that kind of really bug me, not only because they're completely irrelevant to this like Me Too sexual whatever the fuck allegations, but also this is not only is it irrelevant, but it's not even worth like a big revealing or exposure, right? I don't see any reason why it would be bad that you put yourself in danger at a protest when it's a fucking protest. You're in danger being there.
I mean, you also have to understand that what we did was walk away from her. So
Yeah.
there was we followed behind a truck. I wasn't alone. I was with a buddy. Followed behind a truck to see who was driving it, and then there was another instance where we were walking in one direction and someone was coming up perpendicular, and I turned around and I walked maybe 20 feet in that person's direction, and I stopped just to see what was going on. And she freaked out and like yelled, which I thought probably draws way more attention to whatever is happening and us to that person than me, quietly walking in that direction. So those are the instances in which I put myself in danger or put other people in danger. They're extremely overblown. Kind of like her, me claiming I'm a fake medic or the fake medic thing. So I have fucked up in this arena as well. And that is something that I will also take ownership of because, I'm not innocent in all of this. When we were on the ground in Louisville, there was a lot of people talking about how they had declared a state of emergency. So the day that happened, that the state declared a state of emergency, I took a photo of all of us just hanging out in the park, put stickers over people's faces, did what I needed to do to hide identities, posted the pictures. Well, a bunch of conservatives jumped on and, made a bunch of shitty comments, and then finally, the last shitty comment I got that was like, oh, don't give them a riot. It's what they want. I was like, hey, man, I'm here as a medic. Because in that moment, I was concerned with optics. In that moment, I was like, hey, what's the best thing I can say? Because thousands of people were seeing my tweets at this point. Because I was hashtagging Louisville and, it was getting a lot of attention because we were there on the ground. So I was like, what's the best thing I can say in this moment that looks great? And, True, I wasn't there to riot. I was there to help injured people. I was there to help Erica. I was there to learn. My understanding was that I was going to go there with Erica. I actually asked her when we were in Georgia, because I thought we were going to be in Georgia for a lot longer. I didn't know the protest was one day. So whenever she's like, oh, I'm going to Louisville, I was like, hey, man, can I help you? I still have multiple days worth of clothes. Like, I really want to learn. I really want to be useful. So my understanding of why I was going to Louisville was to help injured people on the ground. I thought I was going to have hands-on training, hands-on working with people. So I was like, hey, I'm here as a medic. Everyone on the ground calls themselves a medic. When I was like, hey, I have stop the bleed training. I'm certified in that. I can do CPR. I know first aid. Like, I can use a tourniquet. I can use an Israeli bandage. I can pack a wound. Like, I can do stitches. I can do all that. They were like, oh yeah. The girl who was coordinating for the out-of-town medics was like, oh yeah, you're a medic. But I was still like, hey, no, I'm not super comfortable. I can't be alone. I need to be with someone more experienced. Like, every moment on the ground, I was like, I'm not comfortable doing stuff on my own. I'm here to learn. I'm here to get hands-on training. So I don't feel that I was irresponsible in any way in that situation. So I shouldn't have tweeted at that person, hey, I'm here as a medic, but I wasn't thinking that later people were going to be like, oh, you dirty liar. I was like, what looks best? Because I do think that optics are super fucking important, especially at protests where the narrative is always that, white outside agitators are starting riots. And I thought I was doing the right thing. So fast forward, I go on a podcast after it's over, and they were like, hey, tell us about Louisville. No, ma'am. And they were like, hey, tell us about Louisville. And I was like, yeah, I went there to work as a medic. So I shouldn't have said that. I should have said I went there to work as a medic's assistant. That was lazy. That was lazy of me. I shouldn't have done that. But again, I mean, that comes back to, the reason why I went there was because I am going to make a purse out of you. Stop. So the reason why I went there, they're so loud.
The dog's jealous because you got the cat in your chair.
Oh, yeah. They're dachshunds, man. I don't know if you've ever had dachshunds, but they're fucking loud. So
I've only ever had Pomeranians and a couple Yorkies.
Oh, so you know how it goes with little dogs, though. But so I, in my mind, like, I had gone there to work as a medic. Like, I think that's different than saying, hey, I'm a certified medic, but it's kind of splitting hairs. Either way, I shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have been fucking lazy, but that came from a place of me being dumb and being lazy, and not a place of like malice or a place of like trying to say that I know more than I actually do, especially because, on the ground, I really did make it clear that, like, hey, I'm not an expert. I've taken classes and stuff, but I don't have on the ground training. So, like, I shouldn't be in charge of anything, and I think I was very realistic about what I can and can't do. So I can see why people would be upset with me, but I also think that the way it's being presented by Savvy is extraordinarily disingenuous, and I think she knows exactly what she's doing, especially because we had a conversation in the hotel room where she told me that everyone on Twitter is very sensitive and you have to frame everything you tweet very carefully, and
that is true.
And she thinks long and hard about how she phrases things and how she tweets them. So that tells me that this was very calculated. And I know I'm going to get a ton of shit for saying this, and literally every creator who's had drama told me, don't do this, just be quiet, because if you talk about it, people are just going to get more mad at you. But honestly, the way that this has gone, she's put me in like real danger. So I've seen posts about this on Instagram. I saw a post on this about Instagram today. Someone who lives in my city, who knows who I am, was like, oh, hey, I know her. And then they tagged my Instagram account. It was a meme that a right winger made where it's a picture of Savvy and I in the fucking Columbine tape. You know, the screenshot of fucking security cameras in the cafeteria?
Mm-hmm.
They put pictures, cutouts of Savvy and I in it. And everyone in there was talking about how I'm going to fucking buckle and kill myself. And like, this wouldn't be happening. People who still live in my city who know who I am wouldn't be tagging me and shit like that and being like, hey guys, here she is. If Savvy hadn't have fucking done that, and if she had a conversation with me, and if she hadn't made up a bunch of bullshit. So everyone told me not to say anything, but at this point, I think what she's done to me is exceedingly worse than anything that I've done.
I would agree. Yeah. Um, like, so there are a few ways that you can go about dealing with drama, and I've dealt with a lot of drama. I'm a YouTuber, so it's kind of inherent. And there are a few ways you can go about it, and depending on the situation, some ways are better than others. With my biggest drama, I think I mentioned it to you in DMs, was the harem drama. There were three things I could have done. I could have denied everything, just said it's all made up, and it would have been a lie, but it could have gotten some heat off my back. I could have ignored it all and let it burn out, and that would have sucked, but then people would just continue to go with the narrative, and some people will never forget it. It could be 5 years down the line and people are going to bring it up. That's the problem when it comes to drama. Or I could have done what I did do, which was post a massive gallery with over 50 screenshots disproving everything, and for basically anyone who's in good faith willing to look at the evidence, clear my name. And that's what I think would probably be the best thing for you to do, since it seems like you're basically almost completely in the right on this, besides maybe what you did with the dude being a little inconsiderate at worst. Just making going on here to talk about your side of things is probably a good idea. It might get some people angry. Most people that were already angry at you in the first place will probably get mad, and they'll probably go after me for platforming you, but fuck them. I mean, I'm just gonna block them. I've been having people DMing me on Twitter, mostly tankies with my parents' address, saying they're going to burn down my parents' house. I know they're not going to do it, but I still block them anyway. But the best thing that I would recommend that you do is, if you've got screenshots to disprove as much as you possibly can, or at least and this is important, being able to prove in court, they call this a character testimony. Being able to prove that Savvy has in the past done things like this to try to make you look bad, releasing screenshots of stuff like that is also important. If you want to do that, that would probably do a lot for you. Because I don't know if just letting the drama die is going to work for you, because people are those that hate you are still going to remember it. And just deny obviously isn't going to work. Probably the best way to go about it is doing this.
I also don't want to lie. I feel like I want to own up the things that I have done in this situation, which is why when it first happened, I was like, yeah, I did kiss and touch on someone. I wasn't just like, oh, she's full of shit. I do want to be as honest and as forthcoming in the situation as I can be.
Yeah, but the problem is right now, the way people are seeing it, even people who don't know anything about you. I've seen one person that I know that immediately took your side, and that was Denims. Other than that, I haven't seen you get all that much support. That was what kind of worried me, was the fact that Savvy is a much larger platform. She's getting thousands of likes on her posts, and you were getting a few hundred. And so there's definitely an imbalance in platform there, which is kind of worrying, because you don't really want that to be the case, because people are going to side with whoever has the largest platform and the most support by default generally. And so for you, I would recommend, if you do have screenshots that prove she's done this kind of stuff in the past before, releasing them might be your best bet.
Okay, yeah. I'm honestly just scared. I'm just scared to be on Twitter right now, because people are just sending me really horrible shit, and I haven't wanted to deal with it. And it just seems like in the past couple of days, it seems like no matter what I say, it doesn't really matter. Even if I'm presenting something in a really logical way, or if I'm in the right, it doesn't matter. I called whenever Erica went to go get Savvy in Chicago. I called another YouTuber, because I have a really small baby YouTube channel. I called another creator, and I was like, hey, I was having a panic attack, because I'm close with them. So I was having a panic attack because I didn't want to be around Savvy, because she'd been attacking me all week online, and I felt unsafe. So I said in my tweet, I didn't even want her to be there. If we're going to talk about a violation of boundaries, I think that's a huge violation of boundaries, is making me shell out well over $1,000 for a hotel room, because I paid for I basically paid for most of our trip. So, I think a violation of my boundaries was just telling me that she was going to bring this person who's been attacking me, who she had watched attack me, into our room. So I said on Twitter, like, yeah, I was having a panic attack. Like, I think it's really fucked up that she wants to talk about a violation of boundaries.
Mhm.
And someone literally attacked me and was like, why would you talk about, what are you creating at a protest? Why would you call that person a creator? Why wouldn't you call them a fellow protester? So it's like, why would I refer to a YouTuber in Canada as another protester? You know what I mean? So it's like, even when I'm
Yeah.
completely right, people are going so far out of their way to deliberately misinterpret what I'm saying and doing. So I'm worried that if I release these screenshots, people are just going to be like, fuck you, you're stabbing Savvy in the back now, like that's underhanded of you. Like I feel like no matter what I do at this point, it's not right, and I'm scared.
So the problem is that this is always going to happen. The reality of online drama, especially in the leftist sphere, is that no matter what you do, you're not going to absolve yourself in the eyes of everybody. This is something I learned with my drama. I released, and a lot of people have said this about with my drama, that my response to the drama was better than Slazo's. I'm not sure if you're aware of the Slazo drama that happened, but he was a pretty big YouTuber who a bunch of other large YouTubers he used to be friends with basically coordinated with his ex-girlfriend from when he was a teenager to basically come out with this massive allegation that he had like sexually assaulted her and try to ruin his career. Like it ended up all coming out over the years that they like one of the biggest ones has over 1 million subs. His name's I'm Alex. Like they came together, a bunch of these commentary YouTubers to try to like destroy his career. It was insane.
I'm Alex. That.
Yeah. I'm Alex is like the one of the biggest figureheads in that. Yeah. You can actually
That's
look up Slazo's response. And to this day, and then he came out with his response, showed screenshot. He apologized for what he did do wrong, but then he came out with a bunch of screenshots that more or less absolved him in the eyes of most people because it was so incontrovertible. And I had people telling me that my response to my drama was better than Slazo's, which thankfully I had everybody else that I was friends with that was involved with the drama had been taking screenshots, like went back and got a fucking Bible's worth of screenshots to disprove every accusation towards me. And in the eyes of most people that knew about it, it did end up absolving me for them. But there's a lot of people out there that have hated me for irrational reasons for a long time that refuse to watch the video, refuse to look at the screenshots, and just go with it. Thought Slime being the biggest example. I don't know what Thought Slime thinks of me now, and it's sad because I think Thought Slime, like, God, me and Thought Slime would be buddies if it weren't for this drama. I mean, dude likes Minecraft. We could bond over that shit. But regardless, though, a lot of people out there will ignore the evidence that you put out there. But I like to think that those that are in good faith and actually care about what the truth of the situation is will see it and will change their minds. And it'll definitely help a lot. It's better at the very least having the truth be out there for those that want to see it to find and have evidence that it is the truth than to leave it and allow someone who's lying about you, or at the very least very much twisting the truth in the worst possible direction for you to believe that's true. Because a lot of people see not acknowledging it or just sort of letting the drama fester as you sort of tacitly admitting that you were 100% in the wrong.
Yeah.
It won't fix everything, but it'll at the very least help and lend some credibility to your side of things as well.
Okay. Yeah. Man, so the degree to which this is happening, is this normal? Like, is this what it's like when everyone gets canceled or whatever?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're probably getting it to in terms of mass. Probably also Vermin, aka Hyena, Vash's partner in chat, wanted me to let you know that the best thing to do would be to make a calm final statement with evidence supporting your side of things. Like what I would recommend is you make a Google gallery, I think it's called. That's what I did. It's like you basically make a unchangeable gallery of all the screenshots people are going to scroll through and click on, and a very calm, measured final statement, and then just block anyone who mentions it or tries to harass you. Just insta-block them. Don't acknowledge it again. If anyone brings it up in good faith, like, hey, I heard about this, you just link them to the tweet that explains it all, and try to let the drama die. But yeah, this is what it's like for the most part. I mean, like, ContraPoints got it when she platformed Buck Angel, and she got pushed. She didn't make videos for months, and she got pushed to the point of of getting back up with taking back up alcoholism. Alcohol is I can't do it. I'm sorry. Alcoholism. She used to be an alcoholic, and then she kind of stopped for a while. But the drama was so stressful for her, she fell back into it. It caused her a lot of stress and depression. This is
I
something that
haven't
I
been able
don't
to
think. Sorry, what?
like I'm like I haven't been able to eat for like 3 days. This has been awful. Like I stopped taking my medication for a couple of days. I don't drink either. This is fake wine. I don't. This is like yeah. This is alcohol removed. It's fake wine. Like I don't drink either. But I've even been like, fuck. I'm gonna go get a beer. Like this has been really bad. When people started messaging my husband, being like, "Oh, your wife cheated on you by sucking cock," like it just like crazy shit that people were like went to find my family. I was like, man, I understand why people kill themselves over shit like this. Like this is so fucking awful. I can only imagine what Contra must have gone through.
Yeah, it's really bad. And there's people who aren't even like creators that are associated with creators that get shit just for what their friends or partner or whatever will do. Like I know for a fact Vermin gets a lot of shit, or aka Hyena, gets a lot of shit just from like drama Vosh will get. They get fucking blowback from that. It
Yeah.
is really, really unfortunate. And something that I don't think enough people realize is that just because someone's on the left and believes in like, equality for everybody and capitalism bad and all of that doesn't necessarily make them a good person. The left is riddled. I would actually argue there is a higher volume of people on the left who have abusive tendencies. However, they typically go about enacting their abusive tendencies on others through sort of like a woke lens because it's a bit easier to mask. It's a really strange phenomenon. I call it woke scolding, and they do it a lot. They'll engage in outright like abusive behavior a lot. Now, is this the majority of the left? Of course not. But these people exist, and there are genuinely bad people that even if they call themselves leftists, they can still be bad. Now, the right's way worse with this, obviously, but still, like, there are some pretty bad people on the left, especially on the online left.
I honestly, I honestly have had easier times talking to like right wingers and Nazis at times than I have with like certain people on the left because there's just this like insane level of smug that comes with a lot of people
Yeah.
on the left as well. So it's like they're dunking on you over something that's like a misrepresentation of what you said or a lie, but they're like super fucking smug and obnoxious about it. I actually prefer dumb right wingers. Like at least right wingers are just like, oh, you look like a fucking pig bitch, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like that I can roll off my back, But
Yeah.
man, I had a very very rough introduction into online leftists. I thought that this was going to be like a really welcoming community, and I have not felt welcomed at all.
I
I,
started so I'm 21 years old. I started doing the leftist content when I was 19, and I used to be a reactionary when I was younger. I was like a big fan of the skeptic community, everything ranging from Chris Reagan and Seanhead up to Andy Worski and whatnot, like the pseudo like alt right types. And
yeah.
I was of the opinion, and like there was a very cohesive, well put together pipeline. Like if you were someone looking from the outside in on this community, it seemed put together and like just a perfect construction, right? And generally there wasn't a lot of infighting amongst these people because they knew how to coalition build, ironically enough. And I expected something like that when I got into Breadtube. I was thinking like, yeah, like, you got ContraPoints, Philosophy Tube, and H Bomber Guy, and Sean, all those people are friends, and you got the lower levels of Breadtubers who are buddies as well. It's going to be great. We're going to work together. We're going to take down fascism. We're going to spread leftist ideas. It's going to be fantastic. And I just found this broiling hellhole of infighting and hatred towards each other that I've never seen before in my entire fucking life. It's insane how much more unwelcoming and unpleasant the online left is than even the online right. I would argue the most accepting community I found online would probably be like SocDems and Libs. they're probably the most accepting. Like, I made a joke tweet about how I'm going to call myself a liberal now, so the tankies leave me alone. And all the sock dems and liberals on Twitter were like, "Hey, come on over. Hey, welcome to the club," and everything like that. And those are the nicest people, ironically enough. Doesn't mean they're right, but still, like, yeah, the left is still pretty mean, broadly, but they're good people, plenty. It's just the really mean, abusive ones are very loud, but they're a loud minority.
Yeah, I hope so. I've blocked so many hundreds of people in the last 3 days that I'm hoping that my timeline will just be quiet and peaceful now. It just sucks
Yeah,
because it's like a lot of like large influential accounts, like people I've been mutuals with. Um, even from like when I was back on my other, like I have a porn Twitter that I've had for like 8 years. Like even people that I followed back then on that other account before I made a political account, have now like unfollowed me or blocked me. And I'm just like, man, dude, this sucks. Like the amount of people that I really thought were really cool that saw Savvy's story and were just like, okay, and just like wrote me off.
yeah. That happened with me
It,
too. I saw some well, like broadly, I there were a lot of like lefty YouTubers that or just figures in general that I really looked up to um before and just as I was getting into leftist YouTube, and I've lost respect for 85% of all of them, more or less, and it happens over a slow amount of time. But like, there's
yeah.
very few leftist figures now that I have a shred of respect for. Probably the most respect, I would probably say Vosh is the one I have the most respect for, because he's always been pretty consistent, very nice and supportive, even with people he doesn't like or that don't like him. He's always been very calm and put together. But even somebody like Sean, I've lost a lot of respect for somebody as like respectable as him for his Twitter behavior. Like, it's really disappointing how many leftist figures online that prove themselves over time to end up being really disappointing.
You know, a lot of people are really upset with me for my Twitter behavior. Like, I think I just like, you know, like I shit post all the time, right? Like, I don't see how that's such a big deal. People seem to get really, really fucking upset about like the sexual posting and the shit posting, but like I would rather do that than attack people. And I see that there's so much just like attacking other lefties and like attacking, just fucking being mean as shit to people. And like, I don't understand that at all. So I've heard that Sean is really mean to people online. I really can agree with you about Vosh. Like Vosh has been nothing but kind to me. Vosh has been so nice to me. He's never been inappropriate. He's never been creepy. He's always just been super fucking supportive and super cool. And I have a lot of respect for him too.
Yeah, there's not a lot of like Contra's also been very consistent and very cool. Um,
Bo
and
is
there's
cool.
been Bo's cool. Bo is cool.
So is
Um,
oh my god, why am I blanking? His name's Aaron, but I can't remember what his YouTube channel is.
uh, Re-education.
He's an
I
angel.
had a he's pretty cool. I had a weird talk with him on stream once where I talked about like there was a time like back during the like a while ago when I was having a shit ton. I was getting a lot of shit from woke scolds that were saying I deserved to be abused by my mom because I was a reactionary when I was a teenager. Because I was
Ooh.
physically and emotionally abused by my parents. I was actually, you might have heard of it, kind of like kept hostage up until July when I managed to come to California with my girlfriend, and now I live here. It was really bad, and I had a lot of
Oh.
lefties on Twitter, woke scolds, and most of them were hoteps and like black separatist types that were saying I deserved to be abused by my parents. And then re-education came on, and I don't think he did this intentionally. I think he's definitely a good person. It was just a really weird conversation I had with him where he was like, um, really playing hard apologia for them, and I lost a little bit of respect for him there. And I know a lot of my community did because he was being like he was outright doing abuse apologia there. But I think he's a good dude. I don't think he was doing it like maliciously. I think he was really just trying to like um he was trying to get me to like disengage with them and try to be a bit more charitable to them. But the problem is like these aren't people that you can be reasonably charitable with. The people I was dealing with.
So Aaron's thing is that he really wants leftist unity really, really bad. So I think he might
Yeah.
have been trying to come at it from an angle of like, let's just stop whatever this like aggression is between the two of you. And he probably didn't realize that that was accidentally like crossing a line into apologetics or whatever. Because
Yeah.
I promise, such an
Aaron,
angel. But I'm
Aaron
sorry.
I don't blame Aaron 100% for it because he was basically doing what I would have done when I first got started and was like, guys, calm down, listen, lefty unity, you know. And now I realize it's not the way to go about it. I've even done something similar to that like recently. Um, like I don't know, it's really difficult to when you want things to be really nice on the left and for people to get along, sometimes you just got to accept that's not going to be realistically what happens, right? Everything from like my shit going on at the woke scolds and what happened with Aaron to like Destiny's behavior, with everything that's happened ever since his lefty arc. Like sometimes you just gotta fucking leave it and let people deal with their own shit. It's just best not to get involved and just to let what happens. Like left unity is not worth it if you're going to end up just making things worse. I actually
Yeah,
wanted to
I haven't. Oh,
Sorry, you can
sorry.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I haven't talked to Steven since I haven't talked to Steven since he made the comment about right wingers killing protesters.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, dude, I didn't even know how to like. I didn't even know how to tell him like, hey man, like you like hurt my feelings saying that because that was such a like out there crazy thing to say. So I was just like, oh man, I can't even
yeah.
engage with that.
Yeah,
But
I think
anyway,
it's best probably not to anyway. I actually want to take it back to one of the comments that Savvy made about the nails, the acrylic nails, and how you should have taken them off. Are those the same
okay, can
ones?
you tell these are the same ones? I've had them on for like 8 weeks. They won't come off.
Yeah,
See
you
how
can.
how overgrown they are? Yeah.
You're more like that's the thing though. With acrylic nails, you're more likely to rip off your entire fingernail trying to take those off than you are to actually manage to pry them off at like a protest or before a protest. You got to go to like a nail salon to get them removed professionally, right?
You have to soak them in a chemical. Like so you know how like household acetone is used to do nail polish removal?
Yeah, my girlfriend has a big fucking thing of acetone for that.
Regular acetone that you can buy just to take off paint doesn't even work for
Yeah.
acrylics. You need like a stronger like commercial acetone or something. I mean, I'm talking out my ass here. I don't know what it is exactly, but I mean, I've soaked. You know, I've been like, fuck these nails, I'm done with them, or like a couple of them are broke, and you know, you can soak them in a bowl of acetone for like 30 minutes. They're not fucking coming off. You know, you have to like drill. You have to
Mm-hmm.
go and they'll soak them in chemicals and they'll drill and file them off.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I were to like cut these with, if I were to find some kind of scissors to cut these off with, which I mean, they're also like, they're thick too. So I can't just take regular scissors and cut them off either. Like that's literally not going to work.
Also, you
So,
might crack them, and that can crack your nail.
and well, I mean, you can hit like if I were to hit it right here, I mean, I could damage my actual finger, like my nerves. Like there's just so much that could go wrong. And if I do cut them, well, then it's going to be jagged acrylic.
Mm-hmm.
So these are like smooth tipped. So I think that's probably better than like weird cut jagged acrylic that I could more easily cut someone with. Like it's just such a weird thing to point out that I had no control over and that was never brought up at all. I think that's kind of the shadiest part about this too. She's like she didn't even bother to take them off to help people. Which implies that like I selfishly wanted to keep my fingernails and I prioritized that over people's safety.
Mm-hmm.
Which man, could you do a
And
better job of trying to paint me as like a selfish piece of shit?
yeah,
Uh,
and that's exactly the impression I got when I read that. I got really upset because it reminded me of the I watched Big Joel's video on the before the Big Joel video. I was not in any way interested in this drama, but it really caught my eye when I watched that video. There was a drama between James Charles and Tati Westbrook, And what James
Yeah.
Charles had done essentially was endorse a hair vitamin that was a competitor to Tati
Sugar Bear.
Westbrook's.
Hmm.
And they were like gummies or something. I don't fucking care. It's irrelevant.
Sugar
But
Bear brand.
yeah, she made a video about exposing James Charles, went off
And she
about
called him
these
a
gummy
sexual predator.
vitamins, and then just kind of slipped it right in there, the sexual predator thing, saying that he tried to turn a straight guy gay, which, by the way, isn't what happened. The guy that was involved ended up coming out and explaining that he was questioning his sexuality, and asked James Charles if they wanted to do anything, and that's all that happened. Like nothing like really crazy and bad happened, and it kind of reminds me of that, but the reverse, right? Instead of making a small allegation that's basically nothing and then inserting something really bad, she made an accusation that was supposed to be really bad. In my opinion, it wasn't really that big a deal. And then tried to insert little stuff to attack your character and make you look even worse. So people come out of it with an even lesser opinion of you.
So man, the first day she was all about the consent thing. And when people started to like make fun of her for that and like make memes about it and kind of really hit on these points and be like, wait a minute, so was it sex or not? Like, why'd you call it sex? Like, why didn't you talk to her? She pivoted. And then she was like, well, look, I'm not even really concerned about that. I'm more concerned that she's fake calling herself a medic and fake telling people that she's a medic and she's going to put people in dangerous situations, which, she was on the ground with me for days. Like, if she had seen me do something inappropriate, if she had seen me to an organizer or to a patient or to anyone be like, hey, I got this, I'm a medic, and act like I was way more trained than I was, that would be valid. And she should, she should have described, so, well, she shouldn't have because it didn't fucking happen. But like, if it had happened, she should have talked about that, right? Like, that should have been the thing that she was like, if she was going to expose me for something, it should have fucking been that, right? And it just didn't happen. And she knows that. And fuck, man, it's really frustrating. I'm sorry.
Yeah, lefty Twitter drama. Sorry, I was taking a massive hit from two vapes at the same time when I there.
You're okay.
Yeah, no. Lefty Twitter drama is a hellscape, and as a leftist figure online, YouTuber, Twitter personality, even a left leaning sex worker, you're gonna have to deal with that kind of shit. It's just inherent to being a leftist figure, even if these people aren't the vast majority of the left. It's just gonna fucking happen, and it sucks. And I noticed that a lot of people will downplay it a lot, how bad it is, until they've felt it. I don't know if she's still here, but no comment chick was in my YouTube chat earlier. I had a 2-hour conversation with her on our stream months and months back during the harem drama stuff, where I was talking to her and I was like, listen, you're a small Twitch streamer now, and you've got the same people in my chat right now that were being abusive to me for a long time on Twitter and being terrible. And we had to talk about that, and she was like, okay, like I don't know if she really believed it. But then some drama ended up happening, and she got larger, and then exactly what I said was going to happen ended up happening, and she messaged me and was like, yeah, you were right about that. It happens, you don't think it's as bad as it is until it ends up happening. I remember the same thing happened with me. I ended up seeing Vosh's stream talking about the woke scolds for the first time after the Thought Slime drama, and I was like, this seems a little bit overblown. And then I experienced it, and I was like, oh, it is as bad as he says.
Yeah, I see a lot of people dismiss it, actually. Not only downplay it, but straight up dismiss it, where they're like,
Yeah.
it's only predators or people who are, people who are behaving badly, who are bringing this up to try and like, get out of their bad behavior or whatever. But like, I feel like this is like a witch burning. Like,
Yeah.
the way people are treating me is fucking insane. I actually saw a comment saying that I raped Savvy and Erica. That I raped them.
Have you seen Contra's canceling video?
I watched it a long time ago.
You should
like 2 hours,
rewatch it. If
Okay.
you need some it is unironically therapeutic to watch it when you're going through something like that, because she's so spot on about everything. I think you're in
Okay.
the abstraction stage, or the essentialization. No, it's abstraction, right? It goes, fuck. Does anyone know the exact? She made a theorem, what's the word
Oh
for it? A
God, like the
formula.
steps of cancellation. Yeah.
It's a formula that is always that's always followed. There's like abstraction, essentialization. Essentialization is when they basically, you have an accusation, then they abstract it to be something worse than the actual accusation, right? Um, Essentialism, and then they like essentialize it to, like, for example, you did something kind of inappropriate. They extract that or extrapolate that to be sexual harassment. Then they essentialize it to you being a sexual harasser. It's a bit longer than that, and I don't remember all of it because it's been a while since I've watched it. But it goes something like that, and it's unironically therapeutic to watch when you're going through something like this. I promise you.
Okay, I'll definitely watch it again. Man, didn't she leave for like? She left for like 7 months, right? Like she just left Twitter.
Like 4 or 5. Well, she's still sort of left Twitter. She comes back occasionally to like post randomly, but she is nowhere near as active on Twitter as she used to be. And I'm not going to claim to be like super duper involved with ContraPoints. Like, I've talked to her a couple times, but so I don't know everything that's going on with her. But I am friends with someone who is very good friends with her, and she said this like on stream and stuff. So I'm not like exposing any like personal
Yeah.
information here. But as RGR has said, Riley Grace Rochong has said, this shit really affected her really badly. It's serious. This shit isn't just like, oh, petty online drama like it looks like from the outside. When you're the person on the receiving end of that shit, it is borderline life ruining. And people just aren't built to handle thousands or even hundreds or dozens of people who don't even know who they are constantly going after them and attacking their character, attacking their personhood online. It's just not what humans are built for. And eventually, just naturally, you start to get used to it, and it affects you less than it used to. But it never stops sucking. Humans just aren't able to receive massive amounts of hate online, and it's a huge part of why I think a lot of celebrities end up going down paths that are maybe not like the best, like becoming like hardcore drug users, and sometimes their lives fall apart. Like, people just aren't meant for that. Like, people can't handle hundreds of people, thousands of people constantly shit talking them. It's bad for you. It's bad for your health.
And just the negative attention, it's the positive attention too. Like I've had I've had tens of thousands of followers. Like if we're going to talk about all of our social media platforms, like I've had a social media presence for years. I just wasn't on Twitter. So like I understand what it's like to have a fuck ton of social media attention, which is one other reason why I thought it was really funny, because everyone likes to tell me I'm a grifter, and I'm like, well, I mean, I've already had a bunch of social media attention, you know what I mean? So like it's just not normal for people to constantly be like constantly wanting your attention, constantly trying to talk to you, constantly needing something from you. And it's really, really overwhelming even when it's positive. So when that flips and it's negative, it's it's so fucking hard to deal with, especially when like I've been in a position since I joined Left Twitter where it's been constant. But at first it was that I'm a cop. At first it was that I'm a fed, I'm a cop, everyone needs to block me. Like it was that shit. And then it was I just need attention, or I'm a grifter. Like it's been if for every, it's gone through like steps of different things of what's wrong with me, but now it's reaching like this pinnacle where people have just been waiting for me to fuck up, is what it feels like. I've literally seen tweets and comments of people being like, I fucking knew it. We were fucking waiting for this. Like people are literally like, yes, yes, good. And yeah, you're right. Like this is not normal. This is not something that humans are meant to deal with. And I just I almost wrote Contra an email, which is like the fucking, I can't believe I'm admitting this like on your stream right now. But if you go to her bio on Twitter, like obviously you can't fucking message her. But if you go to her bio, like it has an email, and I almost emailed her and was just like, please tell me what to do. Like, this is so fucking terrible.
She probably would have appreciated that email. Contra's very nice. She would have been like, "Me too, sister. Me too."
I was
No,
like, this is gonna get lost. She's never gonna see this. But I mean, fuck, man.
every for the few that I've had, every interaction I've had with Contra, she's been absurdly nice. I think she would. I don't think she would see that as cringy or weird. Actually, Vermin wanted me to say, remember, the human brain registers all stress as life-threatening. Your brain reacts the same way to being stressed out about taking a math test and being chased by a bear the same way. We're stupid monkeys and cannot tell the difference. It's why stress literally shortens your lifespan and can cause heart, dietary, muscular, and mental health issues. It's true. You've been dealing with not wanting to Oh, I'm sorry, but still good to say out loud though, because it's important. You've been having trouble eating. I've had the same issue whenever I'm really, really stressed out over internet drama. Your brain doesn't make the distinction when you're stressed out over anything, even if it's as something as perceivably petty as internet drama. It still makes you feel the same way, and it's not controllable. It's not as simple as just get over it, forehead. It's like you feel this horrible pain in your gut and in your chest, and you don't have an appetite, and you can't sleep. You feel the need to like stay up all the time, and it makes it hard to function. It's as physical as it is mental.
Well, and this is my job too. So it's like, all my like people that I interact with on other platforms are like, dude, this is killing you. Like this is stressing you the fuck out. Because anytime you talk about Twitter, you're fucking miserable. Like, why are you doing this? And it's like, this is my job. Like I have to make my money online, so I can't just be like, bye, deuces. I don't, I don't know. This has pushed me to a point where like I don't even really want to be on social media. So thank you for acknowledging that, because there's definitely been people in my life that are like, whatever, just turn your phone off, walk away, who cares? And it's
Yeah.
like, well, this is what I've chosen to build my life around online. Like this is a conscious choice that I made. So it doesn't feel like something that I can just like boop, turn my phone off, walk away from.
Yeah, you
And
can't. Especially like for me, I need Twitter to do my job too. That's how I coordinate with people. That's how I set up
yeah,
collaborations. Like you need that. That's
yeah,
part of your job. You can't just like delete your Twitter or like just get off Twitter for a while. That's at worst or at best that's going to affect your income. You
yeah,
got like it's going to affect your ability to pay bills and buy groceries. Like it's not as simple as just turn off Twitter.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
It-
So I mean I've been kind of struggling with that too. Like when do I start tweeting again? Because I've locked my account down. And I'm not saying shit. I tweeted my last thing where I was like, I deleted my last tweet thread because like I fucked up. I had a knee jerk reaction when I saw her tweet that shit about me. Well, when someone showed me that she had tweeted that shit about me, I was like, oh, she's a fucking bitch. Like, so, I tweeted out one last thing where I was like, hey, I deleted that. That was really inappropriate. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I made her feel uncomfortable. Like, and that was like 2 or 3 days ago. I haven't said anything, and I'm like really fucking scared because if I stay away for like a long enough time, I'm like, how long do I stay away for before I'm just telling people, before I'm sending the message to people that like, yeah, I'm guilty, or if I come back too soon, are people going to be like jump down my throat because they don't want to see me tweeting? Like, everyone is tweeting at me right now, like, fuck off, go away, delete your Twitter, all this kind of shit, right? So it's like, I don't even know what to do in this situation. Like, I know you told me to like post the receipts, but like, do I wait a week? Do I just do it whenever I feel like I'm mentally ready? What if I don't feel like I'm mentally ready in time? What if my engagement gets fucked up? Like, because this is my work, I have to think about all of this shit too. And I just don't like, I don't know what to do.
Um, I guess I'll give you my advice of what I think you should do, but it's ultimately up to what you think is going to be best for your own mental health. This is just what I've done. It seems to have worked pretty good for me. Um, there's a few tips that I'll give for dealing, and this works with drama generally, but it also applies to the current one. What I would recommend that you do is first off, the longer you stay gone, the more it makes those that are maliciously going after you to try to make you feel like shit believe that what they're doing is working and that they're getting what they want. They're going to continue doing it, believing that whether you react to it or not, doing nothing they see is a positive reaction. They believe that it is actually affecting you, which it is, but still, like you don't want to make them believe that what they're doing is working to achieve their desired goal because that's going to make them do it more. Staying gone too long is definitely just going to make them believe you're doing what they're doing. What they're doing is working to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
What I typically do is if I'm going through some drama, even if it's something minor, is I acknowledge it, put my side of things out there as best as I can, and then I immediately move on and start tweeting completely unrelated stuff to make it seem like I don't really give a fuck. And that generally calms things down for the most part. Like, make some like funny shit post tweet, find a tweet that you find interesting, and like quote tweet it, or give your take on something that is completely unrelated. Just keep the content coming that is completely unrelated to it, and make it seem like it's not affecting you as much as possible. Because while that may not be true, it makes those that are going after you maliciously believe that going after you isn't working to achieve their desired outcome. And
So
you should,
is
yeah.
ugh, is that the right thing to do when people literally think that I'm like a sexual assaulter? Like I feel like the accusations have gotten such a life of their own at this point that if I just like keep tweeting like it didn't happen, like it looks like I'm just like being insensitive. Like I'm
Oh,
an insensitive sexual assaulter. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I don't know if that sends like the right message.
oh, well, you should certainly make like what I would recommend is make one tweet acknowledging it. You should make a twit longer, screenshot it, and then post it as like your pinned tweet for a little while, just so anyone who comes to your account, it's the first thing they see. Anyone who's in good faith will see that and and if they're interested in knowing the truth or at least knowing your side of things, then they can see it. And if they aren't interested in knowing your side of things, then they aren't worth it anyway. If they say some shit, you fucking block them. And what I would recommend is if you're trying to like, because you have to read the comments to know who to block, right? What you should just do is like, there's a few good ways you can go about it. If you don't want to read their message, click on their account and see if they follow you. Generally, it's a good bet that if they don't follow you, you can block them because they would if they're interacting with you and they don't follow you, then why the fuck are they interacting with you while you're having drama,
Just to
right?
talk shit.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
even need to read their message. That's what I would do whenever I would get message requests from people on Twitter during these last little while. After I started seeing how many people were sent, like, trying to dox my parents and shit, I would just I wouldn't even read their message. Just click on their account, see they don't follow me, and they've got a little hammer and sickle and the North Korean flag in their fucking bio, and just fucking yeet them. Like, don't even read their message. Or as
Was it all tankies that were attacking you?
it was mostly tankies, but there. Oh wow, this vape's dead. It was mostly tankies, but there were some anarchists too that were mad that haven't read enough anarchist theory, or because I call myself an anarchist, but I haven't read enough theory, I guess. Or no, they were mad that I believe that a transitionary, like market socialist state would be a reasonable goal to try to achieve within our lifetimes, to try and set the stage for us to achieve communism. Um,
Wait, you mean you don't want to go we have now to like an extremely radically different setup with no in between? What?
Listen, these people
That's
are
what we went
larpers. Yeah, these people are
on.
well. What
Okay.
their contention wasn't necessarily that that's a that that's like not a good idea. Their contention was anarchists don't believe in that, and my response is, who gives a shit? My endgame is that of anarchism, okay? The way that I think we should achieve it being pragmatic and maybe not by the books theoretical anarchism doesn't fucking matter. Why are people splitting the hairs here? And I eventually realized that these people are fucking LARPers that don't give a shit about actually making the world a better place, and just fucking block them. What I would recommend is don't read all of the comments that you get like in their entirety. Read like the first line. If you see it starting to go in a negative direction, you don't need to read all of it. Like if it's clearly a negative comment, just fucking block them. Don't read all of it. It's just gonna make you feel like shit. And like
I think
honestly,
my husband do it actually. I think I'm just gonna give him my phone and be like, here, take care of this
yeah,
for me.
that can work too. A good way to do it is generally I name search myself to see like what people are saying about me because sometimes I find good criticism. But like,
Oh no.
when you're going through drama, if you want to get ahead of the curve, name your search yourself, see who's shit talking, just preemptively block all these people before they can DM you or comment on any of your posts. You can have your husband do that as well. Um, it's like that's and once you block the majority of the people doing this, your replies are going to be pretty clean. Your replies and mentions will be pretty clean for a while, and then those that either haven't said anything or those that follow you and just aren't sure about what's going on after you made your big post, just go back to normal posting. Block those that try to start shit and make it seem like what they're what they're saying and doing to you just isn't affecting you, and eventually it's going to peter out and burn out. Some people might bring it up over the next like couple years occasionally, but the drama's never going to be as big as this ever again.
That's insane. A couple of years?
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah, no. People have been calling Vosh a sex pest for 2 years now.
I should have never gotten on the internet. Holy shit.
I know. I know.
Why did I do myself? Oh wow. Yeah, man, that shit with Vosh seems fucked up. Like people got I like that you brought up that people get mad for being associated with other creators because when I before my scandal, I would talk to Vosh and Vosh was really nice to me and people would get mad at me for Vosh being in my comments. Like if he
Yeah.
left a comment on one of my posts or something, people would be like, "What the fuck, Merrick?" Sorry, Jesus. Oh,
That's
man.
what I got. Before I'd done anything worthy of getting shit from the woke scolds, that's what I got shit for too, for being friends with Vosh.
What did he do? He accidentally said something to a girl that was she didn't like or something. What did he even do?
Um I'm gonna not give my people will get mad in chat because they'll think I'm downplaying it. But like, yeah, he was just kind of like weird and like overly pushy in DMs with some girl. At one point, and it was very clear that like they both had issues when it comes to like social cues and stuff like that. And it ended up being a really weird, awkward situation. And then scalding hot take that is 100% true here. It was sort of analogous to your situation that the person who made the accusations towards him waited until he was like a large creator to try to like release them in order to try to harm his budding YouTube career. At the time, he had like 12K, 13K subs. He was very small at the time. And she noticed that he was getting big and decided to dig up these like 3-year-old fucking chat logs to fuck him up. And he like did an apology and explained everything. So I don't want to like dwell on it too much because he's moved past it. But people do still bring it up.
Yeah, man, people I've seen a lot of mentions of him as a sex pest.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I
that's
am
the
now
thing they call
also a
people.
sex pest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not taking this super fucking seriously. Man,
Yeah.
I know
Anyone who unironically uses that word is just write them off immediately.
I don't know if this is going to be like worse for me because I came on and talked about this and like I'm like showing people how I really feel about this because I mean I know that people are going to run from this stream and start talking about this on Twitter. Like I know people are probably already talking about this or they're going to like tell her whatever. But
Savvy will probably make a post regarding me. She doesn't follow me, so I know she's got to know who I am because like I've gotten to the size where I think most of Lefty Twitter knows who I am. And so if she doesn't follow me, she must have a low opinion of me. So I have no doubt that she's going to say some shit about me. No fucking doubt. But yeah. At the end of the day, this is just proof that we should just ban sex. Sex should just be illegal. That is the moral of the story.
We need to make sex illegal until we can figure out what is going on. I completely agree.
Exactly.
No more sex.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, if you want to talk off stream about strategy for dealing with the drama, I'm down to do that. I can help you write up like a twit longer about it. But like, the best advice I can give is like, as soon as possible, make a statement and include like put together a gallery of screenshots that you think are necessary and make that all public. Make it one tweet, pin it to the top of your profile, and then immediately move on. Tweet as you normally would if the drama wasn't happening. Don't ignore the hate, block the people that are doing it, just don't respond to it publicly. Your public face needs to be you're over it, you're moving on, it's not even bothering you anymore, no matter how you're feeling on the inside. Take small breaks from Twitter if you need to, but just act like on the surface, from the outside looking in, that you've gotten over it and you're moving on, and they aren't going to go after you as much because they're not going to think they're getting the reaction that they want.
Okay. Yeah, I might call you whenever you're done with this then, and like figure out how to do all that and talk a little bit more, if that's okay.
That sounds fine, yeah. I'm just going to be streaming Dead Space for probably the next 2 hours. And I need a new
Thank you
vape.
Did you break it?
No, it ran out. I use little disposable vapes. I like the mint ones now. I used to use banana and watermelon, but God, I just started using the mint ones, and they're fantastic. People in chat are actually asking for you to shout yourself out.
Oh, my YouTube is Merrick for America. That's Merrick, and then my Twitter is Merrick Deville, which is MERRICKDEVILLE. My account is on private. I might just take it off so you guys can follow me there if you want to. But thank you so much, dude, for letting me come on and talk about this. Because I honestly, really, if you didn't let me do this, I was just gonna like take all the hits. Like I was just not gonna say anything. So,
this is true solidarity.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I noticed the tweet thread, and I was like, "There's some bullshit going on here." The second I saw it, and I like, there's just something really fishy about it. There's nothing that I hate more than allegations being made, like serious allegations being made. Not to try to bring about justice or to protect others, which is generally why these types of allegations are made, like assuming these allegations were actually that bad, which they aren't. Like to be used as like a character assassination or to try to ruin someone's career rather than trying to like help people.
That's exactly what my husband said. He's been fucking furious about this. Like he was like, this is a hit job. Like she literally did this to you. He thinks that she did this to me to take me out of competition because, like I said, like there can only be one leftist gun girl. Like he really thinks that she did some shit like that. Especially because she had a public fundraiser for herself, like right around the time. She might have had a fundraiser for herself the day after, I think, or something like that. And she gained like thousands of Twitter followers, which is, I'm sure that's going to be some OnlyFans subs for her too. So, yeah.
Oh, she does do sex work?
She posts lewds. I'm like driving traffic to her OnlyFans. I'm like plugging her OnlyFans for her right now. God, I need to chill. But yeah,
none of my fans are gonna do it unless they're like that. Actually, no. Some of them might, because I covered a video of a Proud Boys rally on stream, and there was this Nazi lady who had actually found out was a porn star, and my fans were like, "Hey, listen, I need a link to that. I need a link to her Pornhub account. Okay, my dick knows no political affiliation." That was the best comment I've ever gotten, though, low-key.
Damn. Oh, that's so sad. Yeah, but like my point being that I think she enjoyed a nice little bit of clout from this.
Yeah, well, now you get to call it MVS, Merrick Derangement Syndrome.
MDS. Oh, MDS.
Yeah, okay. You have that now. Cool. There's Zan Derangement Syndrome, Vosh Derangement Syndrome. Now there's Merrick Derangement Syndrome.
I love and hate that for me. Thank you.
Hey, listen, you have to focus on the good memes and move past the bad memes. There's always some good memes that come out of all this type of drama. And those that stand by you, which there will always be people who stand by you no matter what, you get to enjoy those memes with those people.
And yeah, I've been trying to make jokes. I'm trying to like make the best of it. Like someone tweeted yesterday, they were like, I want to fuck commie gun girls. I want to start a leftist sword girl club. And for a second, I quote tweeted it and I was like, trust me, it's a bad idea. Don't do it. I was like, you know what? It's only been one day. I probably can't be publicly joking about this situation after one day. Like, I probably need to chill. But
That probably would have been the best thing to do.
I deleted it so fast. I was like, people are gonna jump on my shit for this. Like, no, I can't. I gotta just lay low.
Yeah. So don't make any jokey tweets or like normal average tweets until you've made your statement, and I'll help you make that after stream.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No comment chick said, yeah, haters make the best copy pastas. It's true. Like if you find like a really funny, if there's one that's just so insane that it's like funny, you could probably make a good copy pasta out of a hate comment.
I probably have a few of those already. Yeah, okay. That's cool. Thank you so much. I really
No
appreciate
problem.
you.
Was there anything else you wanted to cover before you go?
No, you let me bitch for so long. This is great. I think I said everything.
Alrighty. Um, well, it's been fun having you on. Are you okay with me like posting this segment to YouTube as like a video?
Oh man, I'm nervous. I'm really fucking nervous that people are gonna tear me apart for it, but I mean, I fucking said what I said. I'm sure people have screen captured it anyway, so yeah, go ahead.
Well,
I mean, I
I'll give
stand by.
you. I'll hold off a few days so you can like sleep on it, and I'll ask you like a while before I would reach the point where I would post it, just to make sure that you 100% are okay with it.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
In the long run, it'll probably help you because a bunch of my fans will see it and probably send support your way, and those that have heard about the drama that are actually in good faith will hear it and probably also support you. So it's up to you.
Yeah, you know what? I said what I said, so I'm gonna be a big girl and I'm gonna own it. I wouldn't have said it on fucking stream if I didn't mean it. So you can go ahead and do it.
Okay, cool. I'll still hold off a few days still because I also have other stuff to upload in the meantime. But yeah. Well, it's been fun talking to you, and I guess I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, have a good stream. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
All right,
Bye.
bye. That was a fun chat. Well, hopefully, hopefully that helps clear up a lot of stuff. I really hate irrational fucking lefty Twitter drama. It makes me really fucking upset. Hey, look, we actually have some positive stuff already. Listening to at Xanderhall TV talking with Merrick Deville on stream, and just I feel so bad for her. This kind of shit is so sad to see. We should be putting love out there for people on or side, not hate and cruelty. Merrick, if you see this, here's some love. There you go. See, we're already getting the the positive reaction to this. That's good. Well, hopefully this comes out to be a very important PSA on lefty Twitter drama, I guess. But seriously, when it comes to accusations like this, think critically. Don't just take it at face value. I know "believe all women" is a catchphrase, but "believe all women" doesn't mean believe all women blindly and without consideration. It means don't instantly write it off as a lie. You know, use critical thinking about these things. Find evidence, listen to both sides of the story, and come to the conclusion that is most reasonable. That is the most important thing you can do. All right.